have is this. My wife is from the former Soviet Union, the Republic of Belarus, and she tells me the story. I'm 37, she's 36. She tells me a story that when she was younger and perestroika happened, and basically her parents' life savings went from having enough money to, buy a lot to not enough money to even buy a bicycle almost overnight. I mean, it was a very short period of time. And my question to Dr. Roberts is, I thought about buying gold, but, if you have what, Roosevelt did or what our government did in the, almost a century ago where, you have a crisis and they come in and they start calling in all the gold. You
have to ignore that at that point. Nothing's bulletproof. Nothing. I mean, you get in your car every day, you may die. It's the safest thing out there, history has shown, but nothing's safe. Dr. Roberts, comments on that?
Yeah, that's right. In Roosevelt's days, the Americans were extremely gullible and even more naive than today. But there's always silver. If you start going to a grocery store with gold, you'll have, bad times arrive. You'll have trouble getting change. And you may find armed people waiting on you when you leave the store. So I think everybody should have some sort of precious metal capability to see them through a period in which the money could be inflated away.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's bulletproof. Nothing is a silver bullet. The closest thing to a silver bullet is silver, pun intended. But no, I mean, that's the point in this tyranny. Nothing is safe. The only thing that's safe is liberty and freedom. That's the engine of everything good, Damon. I appreciate your call. George in Connecticut, last caller for Dr. Roberts. Go ahead.
Dr. Roberts, a quick insight and also a quick question. I wanted to tell you about the Chinese situation. They're basically waiting for us to make our move so they can basically pick up the pieces from us destroying ourselves. I've spent several years in the Orient, and I know the mind of these people. And I think even people like Javinsky and Kissinger basically are using them as a backdoor. If this whole world falls apart, they're going to use that as a place to...
Oh, I agree. The globalists have already moved their second base to China. That's a great point. Did you have a question?
Yes, the question is, why doesn't Turkey maybe get in between the United States and say, look, you can't do this. The UN doesn't allow this. We didn't agree on this.
Well, Turkey has now said if Israel doesn't apologize, they're breaking off ties. Good points. Let's get Dr. Roberts' take on that.
Well, Turkey's a NATO member, and so they're kind of got a foot in both camps. I think the Chinese may be betting that we will overreach and destroy ourselves. But they're taking an enormous risk because if we don't, we intend to deny them access to energy. And so they should see that as a greater threat than they do.
Well, that's right. They're encircling China, but then also allowing them to get oil, but to only buy it from the Western power bloc. And the stated policy is to encircle Russia and China and down the road have a war with them. And, I mean, how do these lunatic neocons that still run things sneak attack Russia, and now it comes out Cheney wanted to have nuclear war? I mean, these people are mentally ill at their foundation.
Yes, when I was in Washington, in the government, and running around with big shots, the neoconservatives, they very much desired to have a war with Russia. They wanted to defeat the Soviet Union militarily, and they got very angry when Reagan worked out a deal with Gorbachev and ended the Cold War. They just got very angry. They didn't like that. They wanted a war.
Amazing. Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, we got to have you back on and talk about that piece of history that you witnessed in the future. God bless you. Thanks for the time.
Please be with you.
You bet. All right, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. Got a guest in studio. The Fall of America and the Western World is an all-new 10-hour documentary and survival guide rolled into one. In this film, you will see the reasons why our government is failing and what you can do to prepare. Featuring Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, Joseph Farah, David Icke, Naomi Wolf, G. Edward Griffin, Doug McIntyre, Mark Crispin Miller, Mickey Z, Doug Casey, David McElvaney, and myself, Alex Jones. Protect yourself and get the tools you need to protect your family from these difficult times. The Fall of America and the Western World at www.thefallofamerica.net or click on the banners at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Again, that website's www.thefallofamerica.net or call 800-655-1577. Prepare yourself and the ones you love today. fallofamerica.net. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365. Hello, friends. This is Alex Jones. You've heard me talk about Cal-Ben 5-star soaps for years. This is an American-made product of the highest quality and compares to nothing you will find in stores. You can buy factory direct, shipped via UPS right to your door. Check them out on the web at 5starsoap.com or call 800-340-7091. Take my word for it. Once you've used pure soap, you won't buy anything else. Since 1947, Cal-Ben Soap Company has been showing consumers that soap can be tough on dirt and gentle on the environment. Buy American and stay clean, as well as support InfoWars. Visit 5starsoap.com today or call 1-800-340-7091. Well, Marty, what do you have to say?
As founder and owner for over 63 years, satisfaction is guaranteed or double your dirt back. Call us at 1-800-340-7091 for a free catalog or visit our website, 5starsoap.com. Thank you.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
We've got 52 minutes left in broadcast today, Wednesday, July 7th, 2010. And I know that the Oklahoma City bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah building was 15 years ago, but it's more important than ever because on all these television documentaries, they're invoking it again and saying that people that are against the New World Order and people that are against the federal government taking over in healthcare, they're terrorists. They're going to kill you. And Alex Jones wants violence. He wants to kill you when we actually call for the opposite. And so it's clear that they're getting ready to play that card. The Hatari, even 7 months before they got busted, said they've got infiltrators in there. And it turned out they had 2. The feds have covered up who they are. But I think the fact that people exposed that there were some fake arrests there with at least 2 of the 9 people caused that trial to fall apart. And the judge said this was politically motivated and just a PR stunt. Kind of like Waco. Yeah, they were doing some weird stuff, most of it exaggerated. They could have picked up Vernon Howe, a.k.a. David Koresh, any day. He went into town every day, had an auto parts repair shop 2 miles away. They wanted that big stunt, and that came out, of course, in the ATF documents. And then that really blew up in their face, so the feds bombed Oklahoma City. And the evidence is just 100% in triplicate, up one side and down the other, that the feds bombed Oklahoma City. And people who work for the federal government need to realize that. None of you are safe. So we're going to be talking to some very interesting individuals, and we've got 2 of them in here now. Towards the end, I may try to get one of the other fellows in here who I've interviewed before, who's got great connections and research between Oklahoma City 15 years ago and 9/11 9 years ago. So that's coming up. But in other news, this is the type of stuff that comes across my desk every day. This is out of the Korea Times, and it says, can good emerge from BP oil spill? And this is by Kenneth Rogoff. And Rogoff was the chief economist of the International Monetary Fund, which is openly trying to set up world government. And he says the fact that BP oil spill is on the cusp of becoming a political game changer of historic proportions, we may get a carbon tax long advocated by a broad spectrum of economists. It is a generalized version of a gas tax that hits all forms of carbon emissions, including from coal and natural gas. In principle, one could create a cap-and-trade system of qualitative restrictions and accomplishments, much the same thing, and it seems to be more palatable to politicians who will jump through hoops to avoid using the word tax. So the World Bank and the former IMF head, because it's one group, they're basically saying we're going to get a carbon tax out of that. Interesting little tidbit. But don't worry, we got thousands of emails with the heads of the UN program hiding the fact that the Earth's been cooling for 10 years, stopped warming 15 years ago because of the sun cooling off. UK inquiry finds emails do not undermine climate science. UK inquiry finds emails do not undermine climate science. And then, of course, we wrote months ago about this inquiry. It's all headed up by top global warming globalists. This is like having Joseph Goebbels run the Nuremberg trials on Hitler. I mean, or having Bugsy Siegel run the trial of Al Capone, or having the Genoveses investigate the Gambinos. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it's worse than the fox guarding the hen house. And we have a key article by Steve Watson up at prisonplanet.com. ClimateGate whitewash complete. Third inquiry clears everyone involved. And then we have our top stories today. They're up on GCNlive.com. That's GCN, the initials, GCNlive.com. That's the Genesis Network that syndicates this show.